Good morning. It's Joe Romero, your Subaru Added Security and Equity Shield product partner for the Denver and Portland zones. I know it's the end of the month and the end of the quarter, so I'm not going to keep us too long here today. This week, as I was looking for content for this email, I was going through the trades and I came across this article, The 5 Things You Cannot Teach an F&I Professional. The link is right over here. I would encourage you all to go out and read this article. It's really worth your time. But the first thing on their list is curiosity. And I think that it's an appropriate thing on the list as an F&I professional. Curiosity is really important. And the way I started to see this is yesterday I was sitting in an F&I office with Devin over at Parker Subaru in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And I started to realize that he's a curious guy and it really ties into the customer interview and how we dig in, how we prepare for a deal. When Devin gets a deal, he opens up the deal. He wants to know what's on the credit application. He wants to know how many pencils it took to close the deal. He wants to know what the salesperson did. He wants to know what the customer's hot buttons were. He's really curious about how that deal was set up before it got to him. And now he's going to go out and do a customer interview, not an interrogation, but a customer interview. And he's going to be curious about what the customer's wants and needs are. He finds out some information about them. His curiosity really helps him set up, build rapport. And then when they get into his office, his product presentation is good and his closing abilities and his product knowledge help him close the deal. But it all starts with him being curious and digging in and trying to see what the customer's hot buttons and wants and needs are. If you're not curious, you're just going to get the customer into your office, you're going to present product, and you're not going to be nearly as effective as the F&I professional that wants to dig in and find out how to best communicate with their customer, what their hot buttons were when they bought the car, what their hot buttons are in finance, and how to set up your presentation to those customers. So I encourage you to read this article, and I would encourage you to be more curious with your customers and with your car deals. On the subject of curiosity, have you ever wondered why things are priced the way that they are? Why is everything that you see advertised priced at $29.99 or $19,995? Take a look at some of these pricing examples I found online. Some of them are cars, there's the iPhone, and you even have sleep number beds that are on there. But everything ends in 99 or 95. Why are you pricing your service contracts at $19.95 or $29.99 or your gap at $9.99 or your equity shield at $11.95? Is it because that's what the bank will allow, or is it because that's the way we've always done things? I was curious, so I did some digging. And if you look online, most people will say that it's psychological pricing. Something priced at $29.99 is going to sell better than if it was priced at $3,000. And that may be true, but I did some digging a little bit more, and I found that this really started about 150 years ago in Chicago in the newspaper business. A newspaper was priced at a penny, but a penny was not a common currency at the time. And items in stores and items that were advertised for stores were priced in whole dollar amounts. So the newspaper colluded, it's a good word nowadays, newspaper colluded with advertisers and retail shops to price things that ended in 99 cents so there would be more pennies for when the customers came out of the store to buy the newspaper on the street. But wherever it started, it's been around for 150 years. Don't you think it's time that we maybe did something a little bit different? Almost 20 years ago, when I was an F&I professional in Denver, I had a trainer come in and tell me that I should price my service contracts differently than what I'd been doing, because everything I did was priced $19.95, $29.95. My gap was $3.95, $5.95. And I had this trainer come in and tell me that I should price things with odd or different numbers. I shouldn't end in 99, 95, zeros, 88, or any repeating numbers, but use some odd or different numbers. And his thinking was that if it's priced at $19.99 or $29.95, those look like standard retail prices. But something priced at $19.24 or $29.73 or anything that is just different than the norm tends to lend some legitimacy or looks like a more real price than a retail price. So I started doing it, and I started to see that my price objections started to be fewer. Now, this is not anything world-changing. This is not anything that is going to overcome all the objections, but we have so many objections that we're working with, whether it be that the car is not going to break, or I didn't use the last one, or whatever it is. If we can reduce the cost objection by changing a simple pricing strategy, isn't it worth a try? It worked for me about 20 years ago, and a lot of stores are doing this now. Okay, that's it for today. The sales close is Monday. The added security close is Friday the 4th. That's a short turnaround, especially for the end of the month and the end of the quarter. There are a lot of Grand Cayman trips that are still up for grabs, and there's still a lot of money that's up for grabs. So it's important that we have a very big weekend, but it's really important that everything we do this weekend gets reported before Friday, or else it's not going to count for any of the trips. I appreciate all that you guys do. And one last thing, if you made it to the end of this video, congratulations, you're probably one of the few. But if you did make it to the end of this video, the first 3 of you that email me, I have something nice to send out to you. Have a great weekend. Have a great month end.